There is a spirit in Yoruba spirituality that walks quietly among the living, and its name is age. It is the spirit of wealth, the spirit of abundance, and it does not announce itself with thunder or fire. It moves in silence, and by the time you recognize its presence, it has already reshaped everything around you. Long before money became paper, long before wealth became numbers on a screen, the old ones understood that prosperity itself was alive, that it moved as a force, as an intelligence, as a spirit that could be courted, honored, angered, or lost. The age spirit is ancient, older than the memory of any single family line, and it is a spirit that must be appeased, honored, and respected by those who carry its blessing in their bloodline. Across generations, certain families built their entire survival around this relationship, offering reverence, ritual, and devotion to this spirit in exchange for prosperity that would outlive them. This was not greed. This was covenant, a sacred exchange between the physical world and the unseen one, passed down like an inheritance too powerful to ignore. And sometimes, this spirit chooses to return to the earth, not as an idea, not as a whisper, not as folklore told around a fire, but in physical form, born into a child from the very lineage that has served it faithfully. This is where the mystery deepens, because the child does not arrive with a warning label. There is no announcement at birth. There is only the aftermath, the ripple effect that begins almost immediately. When such a child is born, the signs do not wait. They do not creep in slowly over years. They arrive almost instantly, and they arrive without explanation, which is exactly why so many families are left confused, grateful but confused. A family that once struggled financially will suddenly find their finances shifting in ways that defy logic. Doors that were closed for years, opportunities that were denied for a decade, begin to open without effort. The parents, who may have known lack, delay, and hardship for most of their adult lives, suddenly experience a wave of favor that touches not just them, but everyone standing close to that child. Extended family, neighbors, even strangers who happen to cross paths with the household. This is the first sign that a bearer of age has entered the physical world, and those who understand the old ways know exactly what it means the moment they see it unfold. But there are two forms of this spirit, and they do not behave the same way. Confusing the two has led many people down the wrong path in their search for wealth. The first is the personal age, a blessing that does not transfer. This form is most often carried by women. A woman bearing this spirit will be industrious, driven, and unusually successful in her own right, her hands seeming to turn even the smallest ventures into something profitable. But here is the deeper truth many overlook. Her blessing stays sealed within her. It does not automatically pour into a husband, a lover, or even her own children simply through proximity or marriage. If she marries, her husband does not inherit her fortune through her presence alone. Only her own good heart, her own willingness to give, share, and provide will extend that blessing to the people around her. Her age belongs to her, and to her alone, a private covenant between her and the spirit that chose her. The second is the transferable age, and this is the more dangerous, more powerful, and far more complicated form. When a person carries the spirit, anyone who marries them, anyone who becomes intimately bound to them, begins to experience blessings that were never their own to earn through effort or merit. Contracts appear out of nowhere. Favor multiplies in business and career. Doors open without struggle, without the years of grinding that others endure. But this transfer is not without conditions. And this is where many people, blinded by sudden prosperity, forget the sacred nature of what they have been given. If a man is married to a woman carrying transferable age, and he mistreats her, if he is unfaithful, if he dishonors her spirit through cruelty or betrayal, the spirit withdraws its hand from him. The blessing does not punish through anger, storms, or visible curses. It simply stops flowing, quietly, the way a river changes course without asking permission. The same law applies in reverse to any husband carrying this gift whose wife fails to honor him, respect him, or protect the covenant between them. And there is a warning embedded in this spirit that few speak about openly. A warning that explains so much unexplained suffering in families that appear blessed from the outside. If the bearer of transferable age never discovers their true purpose in this life, If they never align with the reason this spirit chose their body as a vessel, they themselves may never fully taste the sweetness of the blessing they carry. Instead, they become a channel, forever pouring prosperity into the lives of others, spouses, business partners, even strangers, while their own cup remains strangely, painfully empty. You have likely seen this before without knowing what you were witnessing. The person who makes everyone around them rich while struggling quietly themselves, the one who blesses every business they touch except their own. This is why, across many African spiritual traditions, such carriers are known by different names depending on the region and the depth of their gift. The Ogbanj among the Igbo, the mariners in coastal spiritual traditions, and the chosen ones in broader African cosmology. Different names, different dialects, different rituals, but the same ancient thread running beneath them all. A soul marked before birth, carrying something the physical world cannot fully explain. How, then, do you know if you carry this spirit? The signs are subtle, easy to dismiss as coincidence, but to those who understand the old ways, they form an unmistakable pattern. Watch the small moments. When you walk into an empty shop, and within minutes strangers begin trooping in behind you, drawn by something they cannot explain, something pulling them through the door as if your presence itself were a magnet. This is a sign. Sometimes the shop owner will even abandon you deliberately, rushing to attend to the sudden crowd, hoping, whether they realize it or not, that your presence will linger a little longer, that the flow of customers will not stop while you remain. When someone hires you and their business begins to flourish shortly afterward, when clients start appearing that never came before, when their finances stabilize in ways that have nothing to do with the job you were actually hired to do, that too is a sign. Many people carrying this energy have been fired from jobs, only for the business to quietly decline afterward, a pattern the owners themselves often notice too late. When you step onto an empty public transport, and before you can even settle into your seat, the vehicle fills to capacity, passengers appearing from nowhere as though summoned. That is a sign the old ones would recognize immediately. A small but consistent proof of an energy that draws abundance wherever it moves. And perhaps the most sacred sign of all. When your very presence brings healing to those around you, when people feel lighter, calmer, more whole simply by being near you, when troubled spirits seem to settle in your company without a single word spoken, know then that you are not ordinary. You are a carrier of something ancestral, something that was placed in your bloodline long before you took your first breath, something that chose you before you had the language to understand it. But carrying this spirit is not a guarantee of an easy life, and this is the part most people never hear. Many bearers of age walk through seasons of confusion, poverty, or spiritual attack precisely because they have not yet discovered why they were chosen. The spirit does not force alignment. It waits, it watches, and it rewards those who seek their purpose with a devotion as deep as the covenant their ancestors once made. If you have recognized these signs in your own life, know that this is not something to fear, but something to understand deeply, to study, to honor, and above all, to walk into with purpose, because a blessing without purpose is a river without a destination, flowing endlessly, but never arriving anywhere. Comment AJE if you have ever experienced any of these signs, and share this with someone in your life who needs to understand the spirit walking quietly beside them.